War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. As these two powerful forces prepare to clash, only one will rise victorious when the dust settles. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and the FLGS Partners, Warfire Minis, and X-Planet.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight, Ryan and I are here to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. Some more elf on elf action tonight as Teclis looks to get his revenge from the last time we played this matchup. But here, obviously playing the new GHB, so first time for both these armies with in the new season, so excited to see what's in store for them. A couple different tools that I'm excited to try out. But just before we get into things, I wanted to do a quick mention that we have our campaign going on still right now to fund our Beast of Chaos army to get commission painted. So with your guys' support, we're working on that. Once we hit 60%, should get us over the hump of like we'll have 2K painted, and once that's done from our commission painter, excited to get that on the channel. We got a bunch of bow doors and some other fun stuff. So hopefully we'll get some better looks for the Beast of Chaos. And then tonight, the mission we're playing is the Jaws of Galet, or Galet, whatever you want to say. This is 5 objectives. Rather than activating one, we're burning one each round, so the boards get smaller and smaller in some capacity. And it's you may burn it, you don't have to, so that's an interesting consideration as well. And that's whoever's going second in each battle round gets the choice. But otherwise, it's pretty standard. Hold 1, 2 more storing, 2 points for battle tactics, 1 for grand or 3 for grand strategy, sorry. And that's it for the mission. So Ryan, do you want to take us through your cities list?
Yep, so I'm cities. It's led by Krondis here, who's alternative model, but it's Krondis. And then it's a whole bunch of elves. So we have a couple of units of Blackguard, they're battle line. And then I have a unit of Dark Shards, also battle line. They're basically here just to fill. I
love how that's their selling point.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Blackguard, they're good, or as good as you get in cities. But Dark Shards, I mean, they shoot bad pin conditions. So that's them. Then we have a Celestial Hurricanum with the Wizard on top, so it's pretty good. It also has the artifact that gives it -1 to be hit by missile attacks, so it's tougher to shoot out.
Nice.
We have my general down here, who is Sorceress, and her bodyguard is this Blackguard unit right here. Surprise, surprise, so she can pass wounds onto it. And then her general's adjutant, which is a cities thing, basically her buddy that tells her what to do, is this battle mage here. He's from Gur, so he'll get an additional +1 on top of all the other pluses that I get in this army.
Not too bad.
Yeah. I have 10 Sisters of the Watch. They're here to pling things. And then we have over here is a Luminar Capiche, also has a wizard on it. And that's pretty much my army. There's lots of spells in here. I'm not going to go over them. Jordan will have them in the list. You can look at them there.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but you are in Hallowheart.
That's true. I am Hallowheart. And then I'm in a battle regiment. Unfortunately, 3 drops, which puts me behind you, but
yes, sir.
It's because I have 3 behemoths that are characters.
Large units.
Other than that, I have 3 endless spells. Cogs, Hallowheart doesn't leave home without it. And then we have a Burning Skull, and I went with the Emerald Life Swarm because my bodies aren't super high, so being able to heal and bring stuff back might save my bacon.
Makes total sense.
That's my army.
Awesome. Well, looking at mine tonight, I'm playing Lumineth Realmlords. I'm playing Helon, so that's going to give all my shooting units +1 attack if they're shooting from within 6 inches. Love it on Sentinels, good on Wind Chargers. Also awesome on Teclis though. Giving him 2 shots means you'll likely hit with one of them, because you know when you have the 1 shot on 2s and 2s, you always miss. But in the army, I have 2 units of 10 Wardens, 2 units of 10 Sentinels, the Wind Chargers as I mentioned, and then just 3 heroes and some spells. I got Teclis as I mentioned. I have Eltharion here tonight, who's a little bit of a beat stick, definitely got better in the new Battle Tome. And then I have the Lore Seeker, who's probably one of the more exciting heroes now with the new season. Not necessarily the best mission for him, There's some other ones where he gets really wacky, but he's still a good hero that has some strengths. So there's that, and then I have 2 endless spells myself. I have the Emerald Spell Portal, and I have the Emerald Life Swarm as well.
Okay.
So, as Ryan mentioned, I am in a single 1-drop battalion, so battle regiment, everything fit inside, so I do have choice here. And no surprise, Ryan.
I'm going first.
You're going first. Let's jump into Cities of Sigmar, turn 1.
Confident from their last victory over the Lumineth, the Cities of Sigmar battle tactic is desecrate their lands. The Sorceress and Teclis both fail heroic leadership. The Luminarch uses Arcane Channeling and suffers 2 mortal wounds. The Luminarch then casts Chronomantic Cogs and Faw's Protection on Krondys. Krondys casts the Emerald Life Swarm and Crystal Aegis, but has Atavistic Tempest unbound. The Battle Mage casts the Burning Head, then Wild Form on Krondys. The Hurricanum casts Warding Brand on the Krondys and Sear Wounds on the Luminarch. Lastly, the Sorceress casts Mystic Shield on Krondys. Damn, enough spells. The Burning Skull deals 3 mortal wounds to the Wardens, but Altherion ignores it. Krondys' Blazing Tempest deals 1 mortal to Teclis, and the Hurricanum deals 6 to the Sentinels. The Sisters of the Watch use all-out attack but deal no damage, though the Dark Shards deal 2. Finishing the shooting, the Luminarch deals 2 more mortals to Teclis. Krondys roars the Wardens, then uses all-out attack, splits his attack and kills the Wardens, but deals no damage to Altherion. Altherion attacks back, dealing 10 damage, but suffers 6 mortals in return from Warding Brand. Hoping their aggressive strategy doesn't backfire, the Cities of Sigmar complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, so my turn, I don't want to say it went bad, but there were certain things that did not go so well.
2 wounds off of being pretty solid.
Yeah, so got all my casting off. He wasn't in range for much, but I got lots of buffs off. I loaded up a ton of buffs on Krondys. Crystal Aegis, Warding Brand, and Mystic Shield, and Faw's Protection. So he's a powerful boy. Other than that, I just kind of moved forward. I did desecrate their land, so that's why these guys just shimmied over and took that. Scored that, hold 3 objectives, scored max points for the turn, so that part was good. Where it went less good is the Sisters of the Watch failed to do anything. They had 9 to wound rolls, and they only made 3, and no 6s, so they did no mortal wounds, and then you made your saves, so they did literally nothing.
Yep.
Which was really disappointing out of a 200-point unit. And then I moved in with Krondys against the Spearmen. I kind of felt I got to put in pressure early before you get your 5-up Ward Aura up. So charged in, put 6 tail attacks into Altherion, whiffed pretty hard, and then you spiked your save, did 0 damage. And then he ate the rest of the Spearmen, no surprise there. Altherion then swung back. I whiffed all my saves, and he did 10 damage to me.
Yes. I mean, yeah, you made one of your saves, because that could have been another 2d3.
Oh, yeah,
for the other sword.
okay, yeah, I saved the other sword, but the first sword I didn't make any saves.
Yeah, 3 damage attachment.
Which was rough, because he is ran 3, but I was on a 2-up save at the time, so it was like really hoping that he would at least make one of those. because of Warding Brand, I did put, I get to roll 10 4-ups for mortal wounds, ended up rolling 6, so that did it pretty well. So I did hurt him, which could have gone well if I got any of the sister stuff through, or any of his tail attack.
Spell ignore earlier.
Yeah, or there's a spell ignore that anything, I could have brought him down, but I didn't. So I would put that into kind of a dangerous spot going into your turn, because Krondys is at less than half health, and I really didn't expect him to get pounded so bad.
Yeah.
I put a lot of buffs on him, and yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm praying desperately somehow he survives. I don't know how he will, because I think you're just going to point your arrows at him and he's going to fall apart. But we're going to hope for our best. And yeah, that's my turn.
Fair enough. So with that, you'll get your points, and we'll jump into Lumineth Realmlords, turn 1.
With Krondys ripping through their lines, the Lumineth battle tactic is eye for an eye. Teclis uses heroic leadership, and Krondys uses their finest hour. The Sentinels rally, returning 1 model. 1 unit of Sentinels casts Power of Hysh, but the other is unbound, and Teclis casts Emerald Lifeswarm. The Wardens use Magical Boots to cast Overwhelming Heat, dealing 1 mortal to Krondys. The Lore Seeker casts Arcane Bolt, but miscasts Mystic Shield, suffering 3 mortal wounds. Teclis then casts Protection of Teclis, Umbral Spell Portal, and Storm of Searing White Light, which deals 11 mortals in total. The Emerald Lifeswarm heals 2 wounds to Altherian and 1 to Krondys. The Wardens use at the double. Altherian deals 1 mortal to Krondys, the Sentinels deal no damage, and Teclis finishes him off. The second unit of Sentinels deals 1 damage to the central Black Guard. The Lore Seeker deals 1 wound to the other unit of Black Guard, and the Wind Chargers deal 1 more. Defeating the Great Drake Krondys, the Lumineth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points. So it backfired.
Lumineth, turn 1. Good clap back here, obviously taking down the big bird who's off in timeout now. Altherian stood in combat just to keep him from redeploying and to be there for insurance in case that he needed to finish him off. But I was hoping to get him down and shooting, so there was no threat of Warding Brand finishing off Altherian. I did heal him 2 with the Life Swarm. My Sentinels did nothing in shooting, but Teclis with the 2 attacks got 1 through your save and did 5 damage, so that was solid. I've been chipping these guys down. Storm of Searing White Light, nothing too crazy yet, but just starting to chip units down everywhere. So the timer has begun, and it puts us into a very important turn 2 priority roll.
Oh, all right.
All right, so 3 for me. Ryan, I assume you're gonna take the turn?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to try and claw something back here.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, with that, we'll jump into Cities of Sigmar, turn 2.
Firmly on their back foot, the Cities of Sigmar battle tactic is eye for an eye. The Lumineth use heroic leadership, and Altherian fails heroic recovery. The Luminarch use arcane channeling and suffer 2 mortal wounds. The Luminarch casts Sear Wounds, healing 4 wounds, then casts Faw's Protection on the Black Guard. The Battle Mage casts Mystic Shield on the Black Guard, but has Roaming Wildfire unbound. The Hurricanum casts Crystal Aegis, then Warding Brand on the Black Guard. The sorceress casts Elemental Cyclone, but it's reflected and she suffers 3 mortal wounds. Fucking Teclis. The Life Swarms return 1 blackguard and heal 2 wounds to Altherion. Is it Altherion or Altherion? Teclis redeploys, moving 4 inches. The Blackguards shoot at Altherion, dealing 1 damage, as do the Sisters of the Watch. The Hurricanum deals 3 mortals to Altherion, then the Luminarch finishes him off. The Blackguard attack the Wardens, dealing 6 damage. The Wardens fight back and kill just 1 Blackguard. The Wind Chargers use all-out attack and take down 3 Blackguard. The Wardens use Inspiring Presence. Claiming the central objective, the cities of Sigmar complete their battle tactic and score 4 points.
Anyways, this was my turn. It went okay. It didn't go spectacular, but it went okay. Just kind of pushed my stuff forward. I cast a bunch of spells. I didn't really cast much in the way of offensive spells because the D3 Mortal Wound Reflect is a problem in my
I auto unbound 1.
Yep.
And then I reflected the other one you cast and okay, that's enough.
Yep. So, so we put a bunch of buffs on them. Blackguard. And I just kind of did some that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go through it all. Pop-ups will. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then the shooting phase, I wanted to kill Arthurian. I had to kill Arthurian. So I put all the dark shards in. Didn't expect to kill them. They did 1 damage.
Yep.
Then I was like, okay, next we'll put the girls in. They did
1 damage.
1 damage. And then I put the Celestial Hurricanum in, and it did 2 damage. 3 damage. And then I had to shoot it with the Searing Beam of Light. Finish him off. I did not expect my whole army shooting to do 6 wounds, but he had to die because he was just going to come in here and wreck my whole
Ethereal 3 up, and
the
then
5 up ward.
5 up ward, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. The Blackguard both came in, pincered the Spearmen. I ended up tagging these guys. It ended up killing a couple of my Blackguard, but it means they're tied up in a way. Maybe they'll get untied up, I don't know, but it puts them in a situation where they're a little bit less optimal potentially. I got eye for an eye by killing Altherian. It was great. And other than that, I just kind of moved on to the objective. I hold 2. Jordan burned this one here, otherwise I would have held more, but that seemed like probably the right choice. So now we've got the sneaky dark shards going for the flank attack. It's going to be devastating.
Yeah, I'm very terrified.
Just you wait. It's going to be itchy. So that's my turn.
Awesome.
And,
decent turn historian. Again, no hold more, but still 4 points.
Yeah.
And that puts us heading into a Lumineth turn 2.
Primed to unleash their own powerful magic, the Lumineth battle tactic is gaining momentum. The Luminarch dispels the Umbral Spell Portal, and the Battle Mage dispels the Chronomantic Cogs. Teclis uses Heroic Leadership, and the Sorceress fails Heroic Recovery. Both units of Sentinels cast Power of Hysh, but Teclis' Storm of Searing White Light is unbound. The Lore Seeker casts Overwhelming Heat, dealing 1 mortal to the Blackguard. Teclis then casts Protection of Teclis, Speed of Hysh on the Sentinels, and Living Fissure finishes off the Blackguard. The Wardens cast Power of Hysh, and the Lore Seeker uses Deep Thinkers to cast Total Eclipse. The Emerald Life Swarm returns 1 Sentinel and heals 3 wounds to the Sorceress. The Sisters of the Watch redeploy, moving 6 inches. The Lore Seeker uses Tunnel Master to teleport on the top right objective. The Sentinels shoot at the Black Guard, killing 5. The Wind Chargers use all that attack and shoot at the Sisters of the Watch, killing 5. The small unit of Sentinels kill 2 Black Guard, but Teclis fails to hit. Teclis stomps the Battle Mage, dealing 3 mortals. The Wardens attack the Black Guard, only killing 1. The Wind Chargers split their attacks, but only deal 2 damage to the Sisters of the Watch. The Sorceress deals no damage, and the Sentinels finish off the Black Guard. Teclis uses all that attack, taking out the Sorceress and dealing 1 damage to the Battle Mage. The Battle Mage deals no damage, but the Sisters take out a Wind Charger. Smashing into their enemies' ranks, the Lumineth complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Lumineth turn 2.
I am mighty.
Actually, I was gonna say I got all my spells off this time because I failed Power of Hish last time, but you actually stopped my Storm of Searing White Light.
That's true. It's game saving.
Yeah, not looking good here. Just threw everything forward to get more Immortals because the Sentinels do them in combat now. And I actually needed them. They were the ones who finished off the Black Guard.
They would have battle shocked off.
Well, no, there was only 4 and I killed 3, so who knows. But anyways, not the end of the world. I used my Tunnel Master over there to teleport my Lore Seeker, so he's just grabbing another objective for me. I got my battle tactic, killed your general, killed a couple other units, so it's looking pretty rough. Yep. But you do have 2 big guys left, so let's jump into priority. That's a 3. I'm gonna take it here, and let's see if we can't seal the deal.
All right.
Lumineth, turn 3.
Eager to exact their retribution, the Lumineth battle tactic is desecrate their lands. Teclis fails heroic leadership, and the Hurricanum uses their finest hour. The one unit of Sentinels casts Power of Hish, but the other is unbound. The Wardens cast Power of Hish, and the Lore Seeker casts Total Eclipse. Teclis casts Protection of Teclis and Storm of Searing White Light, dealing 7 mortals in total. Teclis then casts Arcane Bolt and Living Fissure, which deals 5 mortals. The Life Swarm returns 1 Sentinel and heals 1 wound to the Battle Mage. Teclis' Arcane Bolt finishes off the Battle Mage. The Wind Chargers use all that attack and shoot at the Luminarch, taking it down. The Sentinels shoot at the Hurricanum, dealing 4 damage, and the other unit deals 3 more. Teclis shoots at the Hurricanum and deals 8 damage to finish it off. Securing their triumphant victory, the Lumineth Realmlords complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Well, Teclis and the Realmlords did their thing.
Yes.
They shot lots of arrows. Some did mortals, some didn't, but in the end we took down both the Hurricanum and the not Hurricanum.
But the Dark Shards lived.
I tried to charge into them with Teclis. He failed it.
Oh, that's because he's afraid.
Yeah, so terrified of those Dark Shards. Obviously, though, despite you removing an objective, pretty clear here that the proper elves are going to take the win.
The proper elves lost.
Well,
what are you talking about?
Yeah. Teclis came back after Realmlords lost the last match, and he turned the tides today.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I knew this was going to be a tough match going in. I mean, we knew Teclis into a magic-heavy army. It does most of its damage with magic. That's a challenging thing.
To be fair, we both were casting spells well, and not unbinding a lot because of the modifiers and whatnot.
Well, that's true. It's just I didn't cast any of my damage spells on purpose.
Yeah, and you did like the spell ignore was big for me in a couple instances. I think it was just an overwhelm. Like none of my units are huge hammers, right, in Lumineth, but it's all I'm chipping everything.
And you have all kinds of little tools and like I don't do a ton of damage. I depend on doing like 15 to 20 mortals a turn, and I was doing like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Also, Krondus dying so soon.
I was gonna say I think that was like
another important
the turning point of the game was like, okay, that's scary, especially if Eltharion had gone down, different story.
Yep, and that's on me. I didn't realize how much damage Eltharion would do. I thought he'd do a little.
Well,
I thought
he did more than the average, right?
Yeah, and I thought I didn't realize he was immune to negative hit modifiers, and I was going in thinking I was -1 hit. So I thought 2 up save, -1 to hit, -1 attack. How much can he really do? Well, apparently 60% of my health.
Yeah, 10 damage
on an 18 wound model.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. I don't know if that was the wrong play. I know I had to bring the fight to you because in the stand and shoot at each other game, you win in the long run.
Yeah.
So I
have the range advantage.
Yeah, and I needed to do some damage before the 5-up ward goes up because at that point I'm just in such a losing position. I think that's tough.
Yeah.
I failed to do that. Krondus went down, and then I had some dreadful kind of shooting phases, like Sisters of the Watch, 2 damage all game.
Yeah.
180 point unit. Not impressed.
Yeah, they're just old. It's like old War Scroll syndrome, right? Where even when the Cities book came out and they were like rewritten or whatever, like it's just they weren't doing enough.
They weren't doing a ton. I also rolled bad. It doesn't represent that War Scroll. I mean, I was rolling like 2 out of 11 when it was a 3-up. Like it was, they suffered from that. Blackguard always do okay. They didn't do great, but they did okay. I think it's and the 2 behemoth things, Luminarch and the Celestial, they were fine. They do their thing. Yeah. I think they're always worth the points. But yeah, it was tough not being able to do damage, and then losing a quarter of my army on turn 1. Yeah, also sucks. But yeah, I learned my lesson with Eltharion. We won't be messing with him quite as much the same anymore.
On the Lumineth side, I think this book is solid in the new GHB. They've got some Littlefoot heroes if they want to take advantage of GC stuff. They're still got a lot of good scalpel damage. I think Helon is awesome. Trying to channel my buddy Mackenzie, who tearing it up with a lot of Sentinels. I only ran 20 today. Just trying to run in and shotgun with their magical bows.
They didn't do a ton.
They didn't do a ton, but they were doing 3-4 damage every turn, right?
Yeah, well, I mean that compared to my memories of them like picking up big swaths of my army, they just didn't.
That's I only at maximum was ever shooting like 15, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. They weren't ever going to do that, but it's just my brain was like,
you're used to the 30 block that was lifting something. Yeah,
when they had half my army went.
Well, back in the day, they had the reroll their shots, right? Which that spell's gone.
Devastating. So there's nothing overpowered here or anything like that. I just tough matchup here, and things didn't go my way, but that's how she goes sometimes.
Yeah. So. Well, that about is all there is to say, I think, of this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I got Dark Shards still.
Yeah, well,
maybe we should roll.
We'll go to round 5. Let's see what the Dark Shards can do.
Round 5? I think it's round 3, isn't it?
But in reality, we're going to wrap things up here, guys. Hope you enjoyed that match, and we'll see you soon in another video.